Hello, today I'm going to talk about what to do after you get your CDFA sweep award. There's a few steps to the process, so we're going to talk about here how to be successful. I'll run through the steps and then we're going to go through them in a little more detail. First, obviously, you notified that you received a sweep award. I assume if you're watching this video, you did receive one. Congratulations. After you receive this notification, you're going to receive another email with an STD 204 payee data form to complete and send back to CDFA. After that, you're going to receive your final grant agreement contract through them that also needs to be signed. If at this time you would like, you can receive up to 25% of the grant advance as an advance payment. So you would send a request as well before you start your project to do this. Then, of course, you would contact vendors, schedule your project. You have 2 years after that to actually complete your project. During that time, you'd be completing quarterly invoicing to CDFA. This is how you get reimbursed through the CDFA, through the grant. And then at the end, whenever you are finished, within that 2 years, you would complete your final project verification. So I'll run through those in a little bit more detail. So once you receive notification that you are accepted for a sweep award, please start checking your email regularly. If you're not in the habit of doing this, at least start to check it weekly. You get emails through CDFA with forms that need to be completed, and usually it's fairly time sensitive. So check your spam folders, check your email, make sure you're seeing everything that you get from CDFA. The first form is called STD 204 payee data form. It's a long name for a pretty simple form. They just want to make sure they're confirming details about your business name, about the person who's actually going to be responsible for the sweep grant, the person receiving the checks, and doing the invoicing. They're just going to confirm who that is, and you'll send it back to them all via email. Then you're going to be receiving again via email your final grant agreement for you to sign. This grant agreement is your contract with CDFA, so it will have everything that you're agreeing to do in there and everything that they're agreeing to pay for. Please read through this, make sure everything is correct before you sign it. And then once you've done that and it's good to go, then you can start working on your project. At this time, it's optional, but you are welcome to fill out another form called an advance payment request form. It's up to 25% of your total grant award that you can receive up front, because as you, just to remind you, SWEEP is a reimbursement grant, so they do expect you to pay vendors up front, keep your receipts, and then be reimbursed by CDFA. So if you need a little more cash flow up front, please fill out this form. This is a screenshot of it. It's also on DocuSign, so you'll click a link on your email, and it's a one-page form to fill out, not too difficult. Of course, after you've done that, check your grant agreement for the start date. For most folks, that's going to be June 30th or later. Just make sure you see what that start date is, and anytime after that is when you can begin your project. You have up to 2 years to complete the project, so please do not feel that you have to rush and get this all done during harvest season or be changing out your pump when you need to be irrigating every day. You can schedule this around what works for you and what works for your operation within the 2 years. However, we do recommend that you talk to your vendors, talk to your companies as soon as possible for scheduling that to make sure they can do that when it works for you. Pump companies, irrigation companies are extremely busy right now. There can be long waits for some of these changes. So please schedule that as early as possible. If for any reason you do need to change vendors, that is fine. But please make sure that the new company is going to be doing the same project and keeps to the same budget that you originally agreed to. So then you'll be completing your project. Hopefully there's going to be no issues and it works perfectly. If there are any unforeseen changes, we know it happens, and you need to change anything on the grant, please contact your CDFA grants contact person ahead of time. If it's a minor change that doesn't really affect the outcome of the grant, it should be okay, but they need to know about it first and they need to talk to you about it. For example, I worked with a grower who had to change the type of filter that they were doing on their new system. And it didn't really change anything for the water savings or for their energy savings, so it ended up being okay, but we just had to get it okayed first. That usually involves, again, another one-page paper for you to fill out called a scope of work revision. and just talk back and forth with that CDFA contact. Same deal with the budget. CDFA cannot give you more money than you originally requested, unfortunately. We know that prices are changing a lot right now for a lot of different items. Please try to tell your vendors that, to keep it to the same budget as much as possible. If it does go over, that would be a cost share that you would be responsible for. If you need to move money around within the grant from one area of a project to another, that could be okay, but please, again, just talk to CDFA before you make that change. All right, throughout this process, you're going to be sending in a quarterly one-page invoice to CDFA. This is how you get paid through them, so it's important to fill these out. So each quarter, you will send an invoice in. If you don't end up doing any work that quarter, that's fine. You'll just put zeros in there and just let them know. If you do, you'll keep your receipts from all the vendors. Make sure you're sticking to your original budget. You'd fill out this form, send it to them, and then they would reimburse you. They would send you a reimbursement check. CDFA withholds 10% of their total grant award until they verify that you've completed your project fully. So there's a few things to think about before you complete your final verification. Go back and check your grant agreement contract. Some people on their original application committed to doing extra practices or extra things to make them more competitive for the grant process, and just make sure that you're actually completing these things. The two main things that would be was if you signed up to attend an irrigation training, make sure that you do that. It could be really a wide range of trainings depending on what you're interested in. This link right here gives you a list if you need some help finding one near you, or you could also attend an online webinar, and that would count as well. So make sure you get that done before you finish your final project. And then other people, if you committed to this, it will not apply to everyone. Some people committed to doing other soil health practices such as composting or crop rotation, etc. And just check your final grant agreement. If you committed to do those things, make sure you're actually doing those. Again, to close out your project, to get that final 10% awarded and then to be completed, you'll have to do the final verification process. You're just going to email CDFA, let them know you're ready to do that. They'll send you a list of what they want to see. In general, it's going to be geotagged photos of your different project components. So you'll just go out with your cell phone, make sure the location data is turned on, take pictures of, if you have a new pump, take a picture of that, of your new drip system, etc. They just want to see that it's out there, that it's working, that it's in the right fields that you said it would be. Again, you'd have to show your proof of attending an irrigation training or doing soil health practices if you committed to those. And then you'll just do a final, it'll be either a phone call or over Zoom with CDFA. They'll ask you a few questions, make sure everything is working well for you, make sure everything is complete, and then you will be done with your project. If you have questions along the way, this can get confusing. There's two resources. The first one, there's the Grant Award Procedures Manual. This is the manual of how any questions that you have about your SWEEP grant. It's divided into different categories, so you can skip, if you have a certain question, to try to find an answer in that category. If not, or if you need some help with invoicing, talking to vendors, anything like that, please reach out to a technical assistance provider near you. It's free assistance available to you to completing any aspect of your grant. There's two links right here that'll show you who those technical assistance providers are. You can search for one who's closest to you if you want to talk in person, or anyone is available by phone to help you as well. So there's a lot of help out there, and good luck in completing your SWEEP grant.